Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here with another episode of Morning Inspiration with Friends. Sorry, Jelly Bean and I are having one of the mornings, and I woke up to some surprises in the living room. Cannot wait to find him a dog trainer. God, I cannot wait. But he's still a good dog, but we need a dog trainer. Good morning, Paula. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Yes, I can't believe it's Tuesday. I feel like this might be one of those weeks that's gonna like fly by, and I'm okay with that because I have a crazy end of the week. So yeah. So I hope everyone is having an amazing morning thus far. This message was downloaded to me on Sunday. Um, and I think for a lot of people, many of us, and you can tell me if you're like me, and I think it's Gideon in the Bible that kept on going to God and like asking for clarification. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you meant this? Did you really mean this? And we keep going to God for the same questions and the same clarifications of the same thing that he's already told you to do. And so I had wrote this post on Sunday on Facebook, and I basically said, sometimes you already know what to do, but you're allowing something to stop you from taking action. You already have the answer, right? I want you to type in the chat, I already have the answer, right? Somebody out there, you already know what you're supposed to be doing. You already got the clear instructions. And you probably even have the blueprint. But for whatever reason, you're not doing it, right? And it could be for many reasons. It could be that you're confused, right? Am I really supposed to be doing this? Is this really what I'm supposed to do? You're trying to avoid the clarity. So like I said, being like getting it. I used to, when I read that story in the Bible, it related so much to me because especially like in 2014 through like 2017, I was like, God, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, I said, I remember back in that time, like when Facebook Live first became popular, at least on my timeline. I can't speak for anyone else's timeline, but I used to have all these prophets on my timeline. Did y'all have an abundance of prophets like when Facebook Live first came on? First became available to everyone. And I had all these prophets. And I remember it was like a season where, God was telling me something. And I would just always end up in the space where someone wanted to prophesy to me. And the good part about it was that it was always the same thing. Like it was because it was something I was constantly praying about. And I'm like, God, are you sure? Should I be doing this? Can you give me another sign? Can you give me another sign? And he was sending all these people in all the same signs and the same messages and the same confirmations. And so it got me to thinking like how many other people are sitting stuck or they're telling themselves that they're stuck, but they already have all of the answers, right? You might have written it down in a journal. You might have worked with a coach back in the day. You might have taken a master class. You might have did any kind of courses, even a course that you paid for in college that gave you the blueprint, that gave you the answer, but you're still sitting stuck and you're still telling yourself, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Right. And when we have that mindset, it's really going to keep you stuck, right? You're not going to move forward. And it's not because that, God doesn't love you. You're not taking the actions, right? You are delaying your own journey, your own success. And so I don't want you to continue to do that. I want you to get to a space where you start to realize, like, wait, and money is always one of the things people say to me. Well, Tanisha, I need more money. And when I ask them certain questions, and I'm like, what is it like, especially people that are having relationships with God. And I'm like, what is it about God, what God is telling you that's not allowing you to take the step that he's telling you to take? And for most of those people, it's always, it doesn't make sense. I'm confused by the information, right? It doesn't make sense. And I'm here to tell you that you're not confused, right? You're not confused. You are just delaying because it's not clear to you or it's not given to you in the way that you are accustomed to. So a lot of people that are always looking for a new job, sometimes God has told you to start that side hustle for the extra money and you're not listening. And it's something that you are qualified to do, that you are capable of doing, right? God is not going to give you something brand spanking new that you've never done. It's always going to be tapped into something that's naturally within you. Right. And so if it's naturally within you, that means that you already have this and all you got to do is just put something in motion, right? It might mean for you to go to PayHip and set it up in PayHip, right? PayHip is the platform that I use for my community, for my digital products, even for my physical products, because you can actually set it up for people to pay. They can download the item and they'll get it immediately. They can download it multiple times if you set up those settings. But then also, if you're shipping something out, you can have it where that person can come and they can purchase it, give their address, and you can mail it out to them. And it will, you are able to like mark it as being shipped. And it's a free platform, right? And I tell all my clients, any client that comes to me and they want to do digital products, they're looking to sell an ebook or some form of digital, or they're looking to create a course. I'm like, go somewhere that is free, and this way you're not putting a lot of money out, right? So imagine having the answer within you, and you're like, well, I can't really do it. Right. I can't do it because I don't know how, I don't know where I'm going to do it. Can I sell it? And I remember back in the days, used to be on Facebook. The first ebook that I ever sold, I would, they will inbox me. I'll send them an invoice with PayPal. They would pay the invoice, and then I would email them a PDF. Nowadays, we don't even have to do that, right? But that is another way that you could do it if you want to stay in the old times. You can continue to do things like that, but you have the answer. But we'll talk ourselves out of it. No one wants to pay me for this. I don't think I'm a strong writer. I don't think I'm a good writer. Whatever the excuses are. So it's not that you are confused on what to do. It's that you're making a bunch of excuses that's going to stop you. Because I tell a lot of people, there are individuals right now that have had the ability to sit down with billionaires and get a blueprint, and they do nothing with it. And then they sit and they still complain about it. You're not going to go far if you're going to complain and you have the blueprint. And I remember one of my old students, a gentleman, he said that he had retired from the military. He said when he came home, he was like, it was hard for him to find a job. He said he happened to come across a gentleman from, I forgot which country, but the guy was here conducting business. He sold hair, like extensions, weaves, and he catered to women. And so the man told him, look, I normally don't do this, but you're a vet. I want to help you out, man. If you're willing to listen and take action, I got you. And so he said that the guy showed him what to do. The guy put him in contact with his contacts, gave him the full blueprint, how much he should charge for the area that he was in, the whole 9 yards. And this man, literally, my student, literally went for about 6 years before he came to college. So he was running a whole business for 6 years off of the blueprint that this gentleman gave him years prior. And so that's what a lot of us, we say that we want that. But imagine if you sat down with like what is his name? Myron Goldstein? Oh no, Myron Golden. Let me not get this man's name wrong, because I actually do. I can see, I see his face, but I'm always saying people's names wrong, so don't judge me. Oh, yeah, Myron Golden. Okay, I wasn't too far off. So Myron Golden, imagine sitting with him, and he's telling you, bam, 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 and you're just like, okay, and he gives you this amazing blueprint. And I think he's really into like the digital world as well, communities, and he gives you everything that you need to do. And all that you have to do is sit down and actually do it. You have the answer. You have the answer that's going to solve your problem. So what's stopping you? It's you. Another example, I had, God has been giving me the same answer, right? I'm not too far away from y'all. I'm still like, let's trust me. I'm not making as much as I know that I can be. And I remember I had this, God gave me this blueprint. I was still in New York. So this probably was like 2021. And a friend of mine, she texted me and she was like, yo, jump on this person's live. And I knew the individual, but I didn't know she knew him. And so we're on his live and he's breaking down the game. He's like, yo, this is what you need to do. He's really into the digital space, right? He's into digital marketing, digital products, the whole 9 yards. And literally, when this young man finished, it was everything that God had told me previously. Like the whole process. And so when I called her afterwards, I was like, yo, God, I said, he confirmed everything that God told me. Like, I took a picture of my journal and I was like, look at the date. Because I date stuff. And I'm like, look at the date. He gave me the same game plan that God gave me prior. And she was like, yo, we gotta do it. And I mean, we've done it, but you want to know what we didn't do? We didn't follow every single step. And that's something that recently God has been placing on my heart as well. So for someone out there, you need this. You need to follow all of the steps, right? And I think about my students when I was teaching Microsoft, right? I taught Microsoft Office for like 10 of the 15 years that I've been teaching adults. And there was a one particular class, right? They never started at number one. They always jumped to like number three, number four. And I always would say to them, I would put on the exam, do not skip any steps. Start from number one and work your way through to the end. Never fails. At least 3, 4, 5 students was always starting step number 5, step number 3. And then they would get upset when, Professor, how come I got this wrong? Because you didn't follow the steps. You can't do number 5 and then do number 1. It's not going to yield the same results, especially when we're dealing with Excel, right? Excel was usually the course that they would do that. And that's also a lot of our problems. We don't start from number 1 and we don't go all the way to number 10, or we skip number 7 because you know what, that don't really seem important, and then we skip number 8, or we partially do half of number 8 because number 8 had 2 steps and we do one of the 2 instead of doing both of them. And then we get upset with God and we're like, well, God, you gave me this answer. You said this is going to yield the results. It's going to give me, the abundance that I need. And what happened, God? I don't have it. Yeah, because you didn't still do it the way God told you to do it. He sent you the confirmation, so this is what you're supposed to do. And then you went about it and you skipped a step, or you just was like, you know what? I'm going to just do it my way because this way makes more sense. But if you don't have the success, if the person who gave you the blueprint, right? So in this case, God doesn't lose. He's not a loser. So if God gave you all of these answers, then why wouldn't you believe him? And then if he confirmed it with someone who has yielded the results of following those steps, why would you not believe it even more? Because now you can actually tap into someone who can say, yo, I did this, and I made XYZ amount, whatever fill in the blank amount that you believe that you can make. If that person has exceeded that, then you know that it is possible. But we don't follow all of those steps. So we're quite hard-headed. And I know about being hard-headed because so often that has been my issue. I'm either questioning it, I'm afraid of it, or I just don't believe that it's even possible, right? So I want you to go and figure out where do you have old journals. Sometimes it might take for inventory of the information that you have, all of those downloads. If you wrote those downloads down, or sometimes I do audio notes, go back to it, listen or read them. The answer that you are looking for right now, whatever it is, you already have it. I guarantee you, God already gave it to you. And if you do not have access to those old things, then I need you to sit, and I promise you, if you sit and you just ask God. The problem is that we don't like to ask God for anything. And that's something that we could talk about another time. But I'm guaranteeing you that if you follow those instructions and you do it exactly the way that God is telling you to do it, and then the way that the people that have confirmed it, and then the way that the blueprint that has been given to you, I promise you that your blessing is going to be on the other side of this obedience. But again, we have to do it exactly the way that God is telling us to do it, even if it don't make sense. Trust me, I'm the one person that has questioned God the most. And I do believe that God is okay if we question it because he knows we're not familiar with a lot of this, right? The American dream, especially for those of you that are based in the United States, we were given this American dream. And this is the American dream, and this is what you should be going after. And when you start walking with God, God is like, yeah, that's nice, but that's not what I have for you. And when you start doing the way that he's actually doing it, right? And you start taking those actions, you're not delaying yourself. You're going to see the actual results of it because you're following it and you're doing it the way God wants to. We want you to do it. And that's something that I just want people to really get into that space of remembering. Like, he wants to set us all up for success, right? We just got to stop allowing the fear, the comfort zone, the people pleasing, all of those different narratives and components of our lives that's keeping us away from listening and doing exactly what we're told to do. This is the reason why you got to get into the right communities and spaces with people that are on the same path. And I get it. So many people, they don't want to invest. Well, Tanisha, I don't have the money. But guess what? You have to figure out how you're going to get into the spaces with the people that have the like minds. I know one person, I think his name is David Shantz. I think if anyone's ever heard of, I think he has the Monday morning meetup. I remember when Monday morning meetup first started. I remember when Monday morning meetup, and that thing, first of all, it's still going, right? It's still going strong, and it's still growing. Okay. And from the people that I have known that have joined the Monday morning meetup, they have received so many gems and so many blueprints. And this is gonna be our word for the week: blueprint, right? Because you can get into a lot of spaces and they will give you the blueprint to whatever it is that you are trying to do, right? But we have to take action towards those blueprints. Same thing with mortgages. When I was the moderator for MG, the mortgage guy, MG believes in house hacking. He teaches house hacking. He has a book called House Hackonomics, and he's teaching you how to house hack using the 4-3-2-1 method, right? You can go to his, I think he has if you join his community or EYL University, you can get access to his house hacking blueprint or home buyers blueprint. I think it's a home buyers blueprint. You can get access to that, right? Yes, Paula, masterminds groups are so vital, right? The people that are investing, and again, you're investing. Some people don't want to invest $10, right? And I know that. I've been in this space for so long that even when I was doing my coaching, the first time I ever did coaching, I was charging $25 a month, and they got 2 45-minute sessions. The number of people that was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this." Like, and I was just like, and then when I had to reframe my mindset, and then when I shifted to the $5,000 package, and I had 3 people sign up in 24 hours, it was just like, so some people do really want that accountability, that coaching, that one-on-one access. And some people, they just don't want to even pay $25 a month. But again, you have to choose whether or not that's going to work for you. But I'm guaranteeing you, if you already have the blueprint and you find yourself in the right space and the right community that's going to help you to implement, that's going to help you make sense. Because a lot of this might be new to you, right? You may not know. If you're looking into health and wellness, you might not know what a lot of these terminologies, you may not know what macros mean. So you might need to go into those spaces and be with those coaches that are truly teaching you what that means. Not just talking to you, but teaching you, giving you actual guides so that you can do this on your own. That's the reason why I'm really big on anything that I do. I want to teach you how to navigate, because one, I'm not going to be here forever, right? And two, Life happens. Like yesterday we had a crazy hailstorm, winds. I think we had a tornado. My house was shaking in here. Jelly Bean and I was scared in that closet. And right after that, the power went out. Right? Power went out. So imagine if the power would have stayed out until this morning. If I was teaching a class or if I was coaching someone and they were dependent on me, now they're just sitting around waiting. But I want to give you the knowledge. I want to give you the information so that you can start to apply. This is the reason why I teach a lot about principles. When I teach about principles, I'm helping you because the principles can be used and not just in one situation, but you would learn how to utilize them in different situations. Right? That's the kind of educator that I am. Can you believe that in one of my former jobs, I got the students complained about me. They complained about me because they said she was teaching us how to find the answers in our textbooks. And I got in trouble for that. But it made me realize some environments don't want to teach you how to always be able to take those principles and apply them to different spaces, right? That was actually one of the reasons why I removed myself from that space, because it was just like, this is not an alignment of how I teach, what I want people to actually take with them, right? I want my students to always be able to take and figure out the next answer, right? We should never give people the answers to just one question. If the information applies to multiple areas, we should be able to give them the answer, and now they should be able to apply it to other areas of their lives. That's just my logic, right? I could be wrong. Somebody, if you feel like I'm wrong, that's cool too. I appreciate that. But I really do believe that we always have the opportunity. But yeah, so let's get back. So I'm gonna close this out. So again, I need for you to really think about it. Is there anything in your life, right, that you have already received? And I'm going to put this on the screen so that you can reflect on this. Because again, I always want to give you something to reflect. You can comment it in the chat. But what answer have I already received, but I keep delaying action on? That is something that I really want you to reflect on. And if you have access to the resources that gave you those answers previously, I want you to sit and I want you to reflect on it, because it's going to be so important for your growth, for your journey, in order for you to move to the next level. I guarantee you, if you follow those answers and if you do it exactly the way that God gave you, because He gave you the blueprint. So if He gave you the blueprint, that means that you are set up for success, but you have to do it exactly the way He has instructed you to do it. That's the most important part. You can't just modify it to your way. Do it the way He does it. See it through, right? See it through completely. And I guarantee you, you're going to see a different shift, right? It's going to yield different results. So that's my homework for you today, right? This is your prompt. You can write this down. You can come back to this video. You can write this in the comments, and you can share with us. If not, use this as a journal prompt and go forth with that. Do what you have to do, because again, if you're praying about something and you're believing for something to happen and it's already been given to you, but you're not taking action, it's not that God is not showing up for you. You're not showing up for you. And that's the best thing that I can tell you, right? So I am your girl, Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. As always, if you are looking for spaces, you can always come over to my community, Inspirational Trailblazers community. And you will also get access to the first 7 days free. This week, we got to jump back into it. So Trailblazers, if you're watching this, please look out for a message this afternoon. I'm sending out a message this afternoon. We got to get back into motion. But I'm encouraging you, for anyone else, connect with me, learn about my books, my courses, my blog, anything that's pertaining to Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. And I guarantee you will find it right there at that link. So for now, have an amazing day. Have a great Tuesday. I don't know where you are in the world, but please stay safe. I know that in the Midwest, we're dealing with a lot of tornadoes. So I do ask that you just, keep us in prayer. Tornadoes are hitting us. hailstorms are hitting us, and it's getting a little crazy this time. You know, it's getting a little crazy. Yesterday was quite intense. The way that my house was feeling when that hailstorm came through, but I'm here and I'm thankful. But just keep the Midwest and the South and our in prayers, because yeah, Mother Nature she's doing her thing, okay? She's showing up for herself. So yeah, so I am your girl Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. See you back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern. Tell a friend to join us as well. Share this message on your stories or on your timeline, and I would greatly appreciate it. And other than that, have an amazing day on purpose with purpose. I love you guys.